Now, if your morning commute involves a cup of coffee, you may want to rethink your routine. That's the lesson a woman in St. Paul, Minnesota learned when she was pulled over and allegedly told by an officer that it was against the law for her to be drinking coffee while driving. Ultimately, she was given a warning for drinking the coffee, but cited for not having a seatbelt. And the law enforcement official says inattentive driving relates to anything that takes your attention away from those obligations of every driver, which is to pay attention. So what do you think of that?
I was shocked. I mean, I drive all the time with a cup of coffee in my hand. And I was
guilty of it.
But I kept thinking when I'm driving and I have this open cup of coffee, like one of these.
Oh, you have an open cup?
I have an open cup, like, kind of like this. And 100%. My mom drove that way. I remember being in the van again and my mom driving with her car. And I finally, one day, I go, this must not be right. So when I heard this story, I said, obviously it's not right.
Yeah.
Because people, you know, drink with Diet Coke, anything.
Well, it's dangerous to have anything in your hand. I mean, if you have a pen in your hand, whatever it is,
I'm so guilty of it. I have mascara, lipstick. I mean, not
But
here
not
in New
when
York.
You're driving.
Well, no, I'm driving to somewhere, but I do it a lot when I'm in LA because there's so much traffic, and I feel like if I'm at a stop, then I can do that. But it's really dangerous. It's the same thing as texting and driving. We should be focused on what we're doing.
You're the one I'm honking at because you're not going to the...
No, I'm like, a little more mascara. Let me get in there.
But if you have like a thermos in a cup holder, how is that going to be so distracting? You're driving and occasionally you have a sip of whatever.
See, first of all, I don't like people driving around me anyway. And now that I know I drive in LA when I'm there too, so I'm gonna avoid you, whatever car you got. Because you have to be very serious. You know, I went to driving school and I had an old school driving teacher and he was like, listen, you gotta be careful because you gotta worry about the fools around you. Okay?
Right, that's true. All right. The popularity of social media means we do a lot of sharing, but what about when it comes to announcing you're pregnant? It's very interesting that because of the social media, a lot of women now are telling their friends or whatever on Facebook that they're pregnant within the first 3 months, which used to be a taboo. When I was pregnant, we never said in the first 3 months because that was that period where you were most likely to miscarry if you were going to miscarry. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing to share immediately about a pregnancy?
Well, with me, I mean, I haven't had a kid yet.
Are you pregnant?
I'm not pregnant yet. I'm nothing to announce
Are you the
yet.
first man to carry a baby?
It's a miracle.
It's a Thanksgiving baby.
But I mean, I would think once I have kids, first off, I can't keep a secret. So I would have to tell someone, even the day that she got impregnated. I'd have to tell my mom, my best friend, because to me, I would want someone in my inner circle to be giving me positive thoughts about this baby, and I want someone to know. I mean, I think I can handle miscarriage. I haven't met a woman in my life that has not had a miscarriage yet, so it just happens to everyone.
It does, and we were just talking about this earlier. I said my first pregnancy, I kept it secret until the day before Thanksgiving. I was at PJ Clark's, and I told my whole family, so it was 3 months. The second one, I told, like, when I was 2 weeks, right when I peed on the stick, I told about 5, 6 friends, and then I had a miscarriage. And to go back and tell people, like, what had happened, it was very hard for me. So I'm in the vein of Meredith. My third child, when I had Quinn, I didn't tell anybody until it was in the clear and safe, because so much can go wrong. You realize that a baby in a pregnancy is a miracle.
Yeah. It is, but
it's such a miracle.
And I think it's important for women, like for you, I think that, yes, you had to go back and tell your friends, but I also think that because so many women now, especially as we're having babies later in life, there's this silence and this taboo about talking about miscarriage, and I think it's important to have that support of the people around you and have them kind of guide you through it. So for me, I would want to disclose it, especially to my close friends, because what if something happened? Like, I want them to be there for me for that, and I think it's important to share that.
And I was more like you. I had 3 miscarriages before Ben, and the first one I was so excited. So, the minute I found out, I told everybody, and then we lost the baby, and then we lost, and once you're pregnant, it's a baby the minute you find out you're pregnant, when you want that baby. Absolutely. And then we lost another, and by the third, my husband and I said, we can't take it, we can't take people, because people were so loving and saying, that'll be okay, and then when you lose it, it's so hard. So I think I would wait, but I understand what you're saying, too. If you have a strong network of friends who can be there for you.
You don't want to grieve in silence,
Right.
I think it's so hard to do that. So.
Well, the lesson from that is for people to understand that a miscarriage is a loss. Absolutely. And to apprate it in your friends and know that that's what it is.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's okay to grieve.
You've also said, though, on another note, when a pregnancy is successful, that pregnant women also often face another kind of shaming.
Yeah, it's like that. I've noticed with like if you're not showing enough, and women will go, "That's all. You're not really big." I think that to me is a little uncomfortable when I see women go through that because I haven't had a baby, but I would love to have a baby, and I'm sure that when I become pregnant, no matter how big or small I am, I want people to like revel in my little bump or whatever it is, you know, not like judge it.
Too, at the same respect, what you're
honey,
saying.
I mean, look at me. I mean, I'm gonna have a bump, okay?
No, but what you were saying was when we automatically judge if someone's bump's not big, we say, oh my God, something must be wrong with the baby.
Right.
It's sort of this other reverse body shaming and pregnancy.
But is it judging, or are they being, you know, giving you some flattery? They're being like, oh, you're not.
I think the
you look
intent
great.
is to be like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. But I think, I think if you're carrying a baby, the assumption is if you have a bigger bump, the baby's healthier, it's growing, it's bigger. So sometimes women feel like, well, am I doing something wrong? You know, but I think the intent is to say, you look
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something that I really love about a baby in a stomach is like when the little foot come out and the
that'd
little
be so
fist.
weird.
It's like the
Very
cutest
alien-esque,
thing.
yeah. Actually, the baby's in the uterus.
Yes, not in the stomach.
Yeah, so you got to get that right. But before we go,
In the thing! In the thing!
but I was the opposite because when I finally got pregnant and it was a success with Ben, I was somehow thought, because we knew we were going to name him Ben, that if I had Ben and Jerry's every single day, I'm telling you, you get crazy when you're pregnant, especially the first, that it would stick. So I would lie in a hammock. He was born in February, so the summer was when I was first pregnant. Father's Day, we found out. In a hammock, eating a quart of Ben and Jerry's every day. By 3 months in, I was huge. People said, are you going to have the baby next month? And I'd have to go, no, not for 6 more months. So be careful.